What is up, everyone? Welcome to Wednesday. I promise today's video is going to be shorter. Yesterday's was like an all-time record or something. 20 minutes on the nose. I'm sure you guys were stressed that it was that long. I hope you guys are doing well. Today it'll be shorter, of course. We have a smaller amount of information to go over. Mostly, how did your average American handle this situation? More specifically, in Texas. Now, this impacted a lot of people differently. Very few people benefited from this market crash. Most people, like we learned yesterday, had a lot of their savings tied up in the stock market, or even worse, they decided to take out money they didn't have from banks that also didn't have it and decided to take out a loan and reinvest that loan in the stock market, therefore losing all the money and accruing large amounts of interest and debt. So today we're going to talk about the Great Depression in Texas and how it impacted individuals and the response to it. But uh, did my hair even look gray? It's starting to look a little brown here. But I had a friend of mine cut my hair with stinking like children's scissors. She's one of like only three people that we are associating with. Within, I guess she had to be closer than 6 feet to cut my hair. But we did the proper disinfecting. My wife made sure of it. She's very good about that. But yeah, gray hair, don't care. Uh, More to come next week on that. So let's go ahead and dive in. I don't know why I opened that. Obviously, I'm in the bottom corner. Anyways, it's so I can see myself. So, individual Texans and their communities tried to provide relief for those hardest hit. So, those hardest hit would be people who lost everything. And in a market crash like this, there was a large amount of people who lost everything. They could help by doing lots of different things. They could take some of their resources and divide them up. They could go ahead and grow food for themselves. We'll get here a little bit later. Let's talk about this second one. Merchants offered credit for people to buy goods. In 2020, we know what credit is, but the credit card hadn't been invented yet. I think the first credit card was actually in like 1950. And then American Express, like in the late 50s, I believe, kind of introduced their first credit card. But you couldn't just buy things on credit. You could buy things sometimes on faith, which is silly to me. But like back then, people had more trust in one another, and the communities were more tight knit, and they could basically maybe purchase something in a cash advance. Like if you worked for a marketplace and you don't get paid till Friday, but you really need something on Thursday, you might be able to buy something on Thursday in advance. So merchants offered credit for people to buy goods. No matter what, guys, if you have money or not, there are still things you need to survive, like food. Businesses gave food by supporting others by growing food. So businesses supported gardens to grow needed food. A lot of personal gardens were grown. A lot of communal gardens were grown, like communities would share their gardens. A lot of businesses actually took a lot of their interest away from some of the stuff that they were making that people could not afford, and instead started to make things that people could afford or were necessities. Were not wants, but needs. Many communities raised funds to help hungry people, for instance, those who had absolutely nothing. And soon people began to look to the state for state governments for help. So, in a similar fashion, for those of you that have been paying attention to COVID, our government has actually given some assistance. And we'll talk about that tomorrow because I want this bullet point to kind of be our a segue into our governmental programs tomorrow. So today's video is going to be shorter, but I do want you guys to take a look at these photos. People, you guys know a picture's worth 1,000 words. I'm sure you've heard that several times before, but I just want you to go through and read some of these. I'm not going to spend a whole lot of time. It says this woman in 1939 was drawing water from a well in her backyard to supply her family who did not have, or with enough water to drink, since resources were scarce. So, literally going to the back and getting water from the well. A family made tortillas to give to a pecan shelter in exchange for their crop. Workers stand in line unknowing what their future is going to bring. So this is always a potential line for employees to find work. Uh, I saw driving through Denton um, a couple of days ago as I was going to the grocery store. I saw that there was a line of workers who were waiting for manual labor. Maybe someone needs help on their house. Maybe someone needs help in their backyard. Maybe someone needs this or that. There were a line of workers waiting. Now imagine that instead of for manual labor for almost any job. Businesses were hit that bad. So I'm going to go ahead and link these, but this is kind of like a glimpse into what people were going through. You can go ahead and read some of these. So I'm going to link that for you. Make sure you guys go through some of these, and I'll also make sure that yesterday, your stock market crash discussion question, you can either type it or record it. And today's question is a partner read. So if possible, read with a partner, either discuss it over FaceTime or Zoom or maybe a sibling or just yourself, that's okay. Read this information and answer these questions. As always, if you guys have any questions, I'm happy to help. See you next time. Bye-bye.